Hello, my demons. Guess who's back? Back in black and white. Black and white. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. Anyhow, it is your big bad devil daddy, and it is the second of the double shot Reaper's Holiday Blasphemy series to cap off 2023. And that's kind of how we all feel about 2023 right about now. So prepare yourselves for a hell of a show tonight. My guest is an actor, director, writer, musician. What doesn't this man do? The great Jeff Sisson. Oh, and model. Yes, of course. We're going to be going through his awesome career and no signs of stopping anywhere in the future. And everybody coming in right now, you know I love you motherfuckers to death. Thank you for coming in this evening and hanging with us on the, I guess, the New Year's Eve sort of rendition of the show. But before we get into all this madness, let's take a quick commercial break to our brothers at Villain Arts Tattoos. Check that shit out. That is correct. You guys know what to do when Villain Arts comes to your town, city, whatever the fuck, your state, wherever you are at. Make sure that if you love tattoos or piercings, that you get down to this awesome convention, the largest tattoo convention in the United States. Not only get yourself a quality piercing or tattoo, you might want to do some suspension or possibly check out the all the great performers. And you'll be seeing my ass here in Omaha about 2.5 weeks from now. So come on down. Let's hang out. I'll sign some shit for you. It'll be great. All right. So the great Jeff Sisson. Welcome. Welcome.
Please.
Definitely cool. He had reached out after we have a mutual acquaintance with Joe Castro, who we had on the show a couple weeks back, and reached out to me, and I said, fuck yeah, let's do it. And I mean, not only has he worked on films like these, he also does great music videos for a lot of big record companies, and in his spare time squatches it up, man. And in a major fucking way, they are squatch death metal known as troglodytes. So you guys already got the whole thing now as it is. Share this shit out. Share it anywhere and everywhere. Bigfoot lovers, I don't give a fuck. Indie horror, music, all of it. Share it out. They need to see this tonight. All right. So you have been a busy bee. How did you find yourself immersed into all these different worlds? Because I'm pretty sure just like one connected to another.
Yeah, it's shocking how parallel some of these things are once you kind of take off and so I'm trying to think. I was thinking about this earlier. So I lived with my room. I was living in Kansas City at the time. My roommate was actually writing scripts for Full Moon. Charlie
Oh
Van,
yeah,
Matthew,
species represent.
yes, Matthew Jason Walsh. He was writing. You might remember him from such epics as The Killer Eye.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, who could forget that? I think you would like to forget it. But he was doing a lot of. He worked a lot with Dave Dakota, and he was. But he said there was an opportunity. He's like, man, I know you want to get into this stuff, and he's like, a friend of his named J.R. Bookwalter was out in L.A. and he was producing stuff for Charlie, the direct-to-video market, and there was an opportunity to go out there and work on one. And at the time, I was working for a marketing advertising agency doing art and stuff, and they thought it was cool. They were very generous with like, yeah, you can take your vacation. I'd take a little vacation time, go out, work on a movie, and then come back. So yeah,
that's the way to do it, man.
Yeah, no, it was I'd never worked on anything before, so it was definitely eye-opening, and especially on that level, because they were shooting movies in like 10, 12 days.
Which is amazeballs, especially for the quality.
Yeah, I mean, sums up and down, but yeah, the fact that you can get anything in what they were doing at the time was, and this was early 2000s, so it was like Charlie I believe he had a deal with Blockbuster, and it was basically
Blockbuster.
Yeah, who doesn't? It was basically a movie a month.
Mm-hmm.
So what would happen is, you'd start pre-production on one, get that all geared up, and you would shoot it for basically like a week, 2 weeks, and as soon as you were done, you'd have a little downtime. It went to the guys who were doing the editing. They would start doing the post-production on that stuff, and you'd kind of start figuring out, okay, what's next? So, and they had little crews of people, so it was easy to, all right, he can't work on this and she can't work on this. But I mean, he did it for a long time. And
now, was this something you kind of always wanted to do?
I had being here in Kansas City. I mean, before that, there's a guy named Todd Sheets, real early shot on video epics, zombie bloodbath, and stuff of that nature. I'd met him. I'd worked on some of his stuff, and Matt had said, yeah, those are cool, but you should go work on like one of these movies,
Right.
It's a different perspective, so, and it was so, and I grew up as a kid. I was always making masks and farting around,
awesome.
Makeup and all of that stuff. So it was it was interesting, because when I went out, it was more I just wanted to get my hand in a little bit of everything and see, behind the curtain.
Right. What you liked best. Yeah.
Well, you learn pretty quick, especially when you live, because there was a point, I was going out and working. I think I went out and worked on a couple movies, and this was before, right around that time, 9/11 happened. So then everything got really weird. And
for sure.
The marketing place I was, the marketing, that's probably a mild understatement. Things got real weird. The place I was working at was kind of travel and hospitality based. So I got laid off. I'm like, well, I'll just use this as this is somebody's way, Satan's way of telling me to move out west. And so that's what I did. I went out there, I worked on stuff for a while, and definitely,
that's awesome.
The more, I could do effects, and I knew how to do certain things, but we already have an effects guy. Do you know how to do production design? Oh yeah.
Sure. Let me just get right in there.
But the more can you hold a boom? Yeah, I can do that. Yeah. So
be a grip. You can do that shit all day.
Yeah. So the more I figured out, the more I knew how to do, it kept me busy and kept me employed.
Mm-hmm.
you know, because there wasn't always a makeup gig going on. There wasn't always, but you know, so I could fall back onto something else, and maybe you know, they needed, and then some of the acting stuff come around because I'm just a complete doofus, and you know, or um,
There's always
you know,
room for that,
yeah, well,
right?
you know, and it's like I am a character. I get that, so it's like, you know,
I
it's
could
like,
see
hey,
you
man.
being a henchman or something,
Oh, it's yeah. I think I sent you my IMDb. It's pretty,
You
you know,
did.
it's like drunk guy in bar,
Uh-huh.
rapist number two, hillbilly rapist.
Yeah, I
There's
saw that. I was like, hello.
yeah, dude. So, but it was interesting because you know it's like it
It's a
would be like, you
broad
know,
escape there.
somebody didn't show, or this guy fell through. It's like, Jeff, you do you want to do this? You know, yeah, yeah, I'll do it. Whatever, man. And you know,
Well,
I
sure.
was
I mean,
already
shit,
there.
you want to get a credit.
Yeah. Um, you
Adds
know,
to the
so
resume.
it, I'm just thinking, well, you know, when you're standing around on a set, it's
Mm-hmm.
hurry up and wait. And anything that can kind of kill that time. So, oh, you want me to, oh, I find the body and I get to walk a dog or what? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'll do it. Oh, you're going to pay me for that too? Cool. Yeah, cool. I'll do that.
I mean, that's awesome. And when I did Attack of the Corn Zombies for Acrostar film, I was kind of the same way on set. You know, it's like, hey, just kind of listening to everybody. It's like, anything we can do? No. Do you need an extra hand? I always heard that was just really good advice. And like you said, it's a great way to learn.
Yeah.
So were you fundamentally trained to do effects, or was that just something that you were self-taught?
I mean, when I grew up back in 1920, they didn't have that. You know, now it's you can go to school and learn it. And
Right.
uh, I just, at
It's
the
a lot of
time, I
thinking outside the box.
it is, and it's a lot of it is it's very there are certain things that are, you know, obviously very artistic, and then but then there's certain things that are very mechanical about it, that there's
Hmm.
only a certain way, you know. Yeah, you can sculpt them, take a bunch of clay and sculpt it a million different ways, but making a mold is a very technical process that, yeah,
Oh man.
there's a little wiggle room on it, but it's pretty much the same thing. And making a mask, you know, well, you know, you got to pour latex into it, or you can do, but yeah, I figured out, you know, there were stuff like Fangoria was around, and Famous
Oh man, it
Monsters.
was just an awesome resource.
Yeah, I mean, even it wasn't necessarily even something that was like how to, but
Right.
man, I would just sit there and oh,
You could get
just scour those like,
ideas.
what is he doing? You know, so um, you know, I already had my foot in that world. And then when I was, I'm pretty sure I was still in grade school. A friend of my mom's worked at a book bindery, and
Ooh.
she knew I was ate up with this stuff, and she brought me this book, and she said this was it was they called it an executive copy, and
Nice.
I'm like, well, what is that? She's like, well, it's a paperback book, but there's a certain amount of them. They bind them in leather and
Hmm.
do a gold foil stamp on the front. And I'm like, well, what is this thing? She's like, I don't know if you've heard of this guy. It's somebody named Tom Savini. It's something
Yep.
called Grand. So it was the original Grand Illusions. Uh,
I kind of figured that's where you were going with that.
it's a pretty, you know, and it was like, holy smokes, you know, that
It's
was
like
a
a
real game
FX Bible.
changer. Yeah, and it's I remember meeting Tom one time, and I showed it to him, and he's like, "Where did you get this?" And it's like I told him the story, and the reason I even got it was because when they were doing these executive copies,
Hmm.
in the back of mine, it's got a very slight crease of the paper where they took the paper back and they put this hard leather. If I had it handy, I would show you. It's actually pretty cool. Of course, I don't have it handy, so but it's he's like, yeah, there's only like a handful of these, you know. And I'm
Wow.
just like, but boy, it's
What an
probably a good
honor.
thing it was. What's that?
I said, what an honor.
You know, at the time, you know, being a kid, I knew it was special, but I didn't know quite how special it was. But
Hmm.
it's if it hadn't been bound the way it was, I would have just destroyed it probably because I read it so much. Um, but
Basically,
that
that's
was a
what you're
big,
supposed to do.
yeah, and that was a big game changer for me. You know,
Nice.
where you could see, and he was really, here's how I did this, and here's how. So
Just giving those secrets away. Damn.
yeah, no, and that's not. It's funny because he learned from a guy named Dick Smith, and I took the Dick Smith course, and Dick Smith was the guy who did The Exorcist. He did the Godfather movies, Amadeus. He won an Oscar for. He's done a ton of stuff, but he was such a generous guy. He documented everything that he ever came up with, created, experimented with, and it's this giant binder. And it used to be what he would do. He would come up with something. It's like, oh, the Caro syrup blood, he's responsible for that. Because he was going to Italy and he needed something. He's like, at the time, 3M, the sticky note people, made blood, which looked like red paint. So you watch Dawn of the Dead. That's why the blood looks like paint sometimes. Well, Dick Smith he was going to Italy. He was going to work on The Godfather, and he needed something. He couldn't travel with anything. He's like, well, what can I make fake blood out of that I can? It's like, well, they have corn syrup in supermarkets, and I can put red food coloring in it, and I can tweak it. And so that's where that came from. And he would make a big mimeograph, and he would send it out to anybody who asked for it. So he was very generous with everything that he did. And everything, I mean, things still evolve, and everything's kind of went into silicones and more very more technical things nowadays. But if he was still alive, he would still be sharing all that stuff, which is great.
Oh, most definitely.
Because, and I got him on, you get him on the phone, like when he was still alive and you took his course, you get on the phone with him. And,
wow.
He's like, get a pad and pencil. We don't have time to waste. There's a lot of stuff we got to go over here, and it was like, okay. But yeah, it's pretty interesting to, I've been pretty lucky, that been able to, meet people like that and work with people, meet the Tom Savinis of the world, and get a chance. Sometimes you work with them, and
there's no better education than, learning from some of the best, innovators in that particular dynamic. So
yeah, Tom's obviously the gore dude, and I was really into that. When you're a kid, that was the stuff I was
fuck yeah, the gorier the better.
And then you kind of evolve into that, like, there is an actual craft to some of this stuff. So I really got into the sculpting and making prosthetics and that whole piece. And again, just kind of taught myself, actually reading some of Dick Smith's stuff. There were a couple other books floating around. It's like, oh, okay, that's how you do it. So you kind of figure this stuff out, and it's that's kind of where that all came from, and it's definitely interesting, and now you can go, there's several schools that you can go and teach, or you can go and they'll teach you this. I know when I came back from LA, I taught a workshop here for a while at one of the universities.
Wow.
I just hate other people, so then
I think that's across the board.
Yeah, it was
people for so long before you're like, I gotta go, or damn it,
definitely. Yeah, you definitely have to have a certain mindset for that. I know when I lived out in LA, there were a couple of, like, Joe Blasco was a makeup artist, and there was a really great school. And I went in there with my friend Mark Batista, who was a teacher, and went in there a few times with him and worked. And it was really interesting to be around that in a more of an academic sense and see these people wanting to learn it. And yeah, and when I was out there, it was, that early 2000s, kind of drifting into the mid 2000s, something interesting happened. Like a couple of the big makeup shops closed up. Like Rick Baker's shop closed up, and there were a few of these really big shops. It was. Well, I'll tell you what was really sad. So here I am working on this, like, man, I can't remember. It was a vampire movie. I told you this, and I absolutely meant it, Reaper. There are movies I've worked on I'm not even sure I ever saw. Like, you were just like cranking them out, And
was it the Guardian one?
No, no, no. This was
or the
because
other
that's
one?
not even a vampire movie. That's what's funny. That art box
Oh
makes it look like a vampire movie. No, it's like these crazy demons and stuff.
no,
This
that's
was
even better though.
yeah. So yeah, there was this movie. It was a vampire movie, and I'll look and I'll kind of nudge my memory here, but it had uh, Kevin Dillon was in it. It was right before he
Yeah,
started doing
yeah.
Entourage, um, which was pretty interesting. But I'm working on this really low budget vampire movie, and
Hmm.
uh, and all these it was John Buechler, John Carl Buechler, the guy that he's a director, directed the Seventh Friday the 13th, but he was also a
Yes.
makeup guy. But he was the guy that they hired to do the movie, and it was pretty funny. So I'm standing there. It was like a realization moment where you're like, um, you're standing there working on this movie, and it was called Out for Blood, by the way.
That's it. It was on the
Um,
tip of my tongue, and I could not get it out. Damn
yeah,
it.
but it had about, it was like Vanessa Angel, who was in Kingpin, and Lance
Yep.
Henriksen. There had all these people in it, and it was a pretty cool little effort. But here we're trying to like it was your classic vampire where they put the brow on, we call it the Buffy brow, but there's a box in this
You gotta
room.
love it.
Yeah. So John had brought this box of appliances, and some were of lesser quality. We'll just leave it at that. But it's
Sure.
literally this giant cardboard box that was in the middle of the room. And they were like, all right, if you want, you got to dig out your appliance out of this box. So you got like 10 other guys, because there was a lot of vampire makeups in this. So
Oh
I
yeah.
I realized I'm sitting here, you're fighting for the best piece of foam out of this crummy box, and the guy that's standing next to you has just got laid off from Rick Baker, and the last movie he
Woo!
worked on won an Oscar,
God
and we're
damn.
sitting there fighting for the same crummy vampire appliance. I mean, it was like, okay, maybe I should rethink this. Maybe I should go back home to Kansas City, where life's cheap and so is the cost of living, and kind of reevaluate my life choices. But
Yeah,
because everything was
definitely.
moving,
Yeah.
everything was
I can see
moving
how that could,
to
bring your spirits down a little.
well, everything you think about that, it was like everything was kind of going, I'm sure Joe would have told you the same thing, because it was around the same time where I met him, where there was this, you know what, yeah, we could do it with practical effects, but it's cheaper to do a shitty CG effect.
Fuck that.
So that's what was happening. So we were working on,
Yeah.
there was these sci-fi channel movies that you'll see these
Oh, don't even get me started on those pieces of shit.
well, they know what they make no pretense about being anything
No,
other
they
than
sure don't.
there is
I
a
mean,
formula,
Sharknado.
and sometimes they hit.
Right.
Not
It was
always.
so fucking bad that everybody loved it.
It, it, uh, yeah. One of my best friends in the world is it's this creep named Trent Haga, and I, and but he's this incredible writer. He's a director, and I know I remember him telling me the story about he'd gotten hired to uh, write one of these, and it's like, he wrote this script. He get no, 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 dude, this is way too good. Try take another pass and dumb it down, and he wrote it, gave it back. No, 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 man, no, no, no. And here's
Like
the
as
copy
in
of
make
what we
it
normally
sillier.
do, and you can see it, like it's catered to TV, the
Yeah,
act, the first commercial. This needs to happen by halfway through. We need to be here, and when you watch
that's true.
those, so they're very formulaic, and they don't have a lot of wiggle room for. They don't want to reinvent the wheel. They know exactly what they're getting when they watch those.
Yep.
And unfortunately, it wasn't quality makeup effects or anything like that. A lot of times they just kind of lean back, and it was like, well, we can hire this guy for a week to do the CG stuff, and he'll do the best he can. So that's what it is. Um,
Hmm.
that's why some CG looks good, some CG looks bad. Some CG
For
they spend
sure.
months. Some they spend days. I worked on the ones that they spent days.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because then it ends up
So,
looking like, yeah.
we worked, it's just interesting. And to see it's kind of, that piece of the business kind of people got tired of that and that kind of went away for a while. And,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's definitely, I know now that, I use, computer stuff whenever I can to aid the practical,
Now, see, you get it. And that's what, especially
Yeah.
everybody here at, the Morgrat universe, they like as much practical effects as possible.
I
You
mean,
know, some
you
stuff
can,
you just have to CG,
yeah, we do this thing a lot. It's called the heel reveal, like where you're going to
Yep.
shoot someone in the head. So we'll go ahead and put the appliance on, and we've got the whole setup for the back where it blows it out.
Mm-hmm.
But in post, we can hide this for about 10 frames, and it looks, the actor reacts. I mean, it's a great, because trying to, someone's bare forehead trying to make it look like the bullet, there's a bullet hole that appears. I mean, it's difficult, and to make it look
Oh,
good.
absolutely.
I've used that a ton. It's an easy gag, and it saves. It's one of those things. It expedites everything that's going on in the set. We can shoot
Mm-hmm.
quicker. We can do more takes if we need to, because we've got very little to lose, and I try to do that. I use that a lot, especially with the music videos and stuff where I like to have effects in it. Sometimes it's like, okay, I figure out a way. I can't really burn this guy up and it's not practical, but I can get pretty close and I can do a couple cool things, I think. So,
Yeah,
having an understanding is half the battle. So then how, because I feel like there's a good marriage of the two if you do it right.
definitely. Speaking of music videos, how did you find yourself thrown into that?
Probably, well, so when I came back from LA, I started, that's when I started Troglodyte, which is
Okay.
yeah. So I'd never, I had a mutual friend that had introduced me to this guy, Chris Wilson, who's the drummer of Troglodyte, but he introduced me to
Mm-hmm.
Chris at the time. And Chris, um, we kind of hit it off and, we started talking and, um, we just, I had this idea. I pitched it to him. He thought it was absolutely ridiculous. And I think it was a hard sell at first, but we had another guy who came in. It was just the three of us that were writing the music initially. And we kind of came up
Mm-hmm.
with these songs. And I had the whole idea. I was like, like to do the mask and make it a little more theatrical, maybe a little more serious, not comical like War, but, more of a
Yeah.
like, more of
I definitely get that feel from you guys, as just as much as serious as the death metal that you make.
yeah,
Because
I
I
think,
had
look, we don't take ourselves seriously. We don't take
I
ourselves
think as
seriously.
artists we usually don't because that's what keeps us humble. But
Right,
everybody
right.
else like really fucking gets into it. I had another Sasquatch band called Black Sasquatch on. I want to say about 3 or 4 months ago. A little
Sure.
bit more on like the doom kind
Yes,
of almost like stoner metal type.
yes.
But this version of Sasquatch metal, as I guess that's affectionately what I'm calling it now. Uh, I was blown the fuck away, and I am huge
Oh,
death
thank
metal
you.
fan. Always have been. Most of my playing career has been in death metal bands. So, um, yeah. How did? Let's hear more about this evolution of Troglodyte.
Chris was, yeah, man. Again, we had this mutual friend. We started talking about maybe doing
Mm-hmm.
something, and I came from a musical background. Like when I was in school and everything, I never actually had a band or anything to speak of, but it was just something I knew I could do. And I was like, well, we talked about it, and um, when I was in LA visiting my creep friend Trent, and
Yep. Creepy Trent.
We spent a lot of time watching TV and movies and stuff, and we'd watch this. And I think I'd always thought about it, but we'd watch. There was this movie called. We watched two movies. I remember that's one of them was called The Pit.
Oh yeah.
It's with this. It's a strange Canadian movie where it's this little kid who. I mean, he's a complete like little pervert, and he pushes people. He finds this pit that's full of a family of prehistoric troglodytes, and people he doesn't like, he takes them to the pit and pushes them in.
Yeah.
I don't do the movie justice because it is way more bananas than that. So that that was definitely one. And then Trent had showed me this movie called Night of the Demon, not to be confused with the Linnea Quigley Night of the Demons.
Right,
this is
right.
the Bigfoot Night of the Demon, and I was just like, man, this just seems like everything's crossing here. And when I was out in LA, this is interesting. So one of the guys, so there was a band, and I'd seen them. They were from around here called Origin. And
yes.
When I was in LA, they were on a tour and they were playing at the Knitting Factory. And I was like, oh, I got to go check those guys out because I'd seen them here in KC a couple times, I think. And I wanted to go see them. And one of the support on there was this band called the Berserker.
Yeah.
And dude, I'd never seen, they were wearing masks and there was no, I mean, they just got up there, played and left. And it was just like that. What just happened?
Yeah. Like you kind of felt like you got punched in the face, but you don't know where it came from.
Yes. It was the music equivalent of someone kicking you in the sack, and in the best way possible. So, but I was just like, what did, and
what's up, Justin?
But I just remember that stayed with me. And I was like, I took all these things, and like any schlockmeister does, you put them in the blender and you barf out a Bigfoot death metal band. We call it, what we call it, Reaper? We call it Neandercore.
You know what? I dig that almost even more. That's so perfect. Because so I mean, when you think of Bigfoot, you don't think of, oh, it's, kind of jamming and kind of, get you moving and stuff like that. No, this makes you want to kill shit.
I think it's interesting. When we first started this, I think everybody thought it was going to be like a Doom thing.
Oh, they probably did. So, because like I said, Black Sasquatch been around a long time, and they are definitely not scary.
And so you kind of have, and we use that to our advantage. And we came up with about, I don't know, a half dozen songs before we ever, like, the whole thing was, let's try.
Hi, Melanie.
Right. Let's try to write some good. If the music isn't good, what's the point of coming up with these masks?
Exactly.
And doing,
it's a commitment.
So once we had it, it was a lot easier sell then at that point to say, oh, we got some pretty killer songs. And the idea was, again, I think people thought, I don't know what they thought it was going to be. Like I said, there was a lot of thought. You see it, it's like troglodyte. Okay, it even sounds heavy. It's like it's going to be like a Doom thing. And we got up there and we would play these shows, and we would get up there and play for 25 minutes, and we wouldn't say anything. It was like a punk show.
Yeah.
Like song, and just leave. Which is really
obviously
hard to
leaving
do.
People with all the questions, like what the hell was
Which
that?
is great.
I kind of felt that way.
And
when I heard the song Bring Me the Head of Bigfoot, I was like, that was not what I was expecting. It's like they just reached into my mouth and yanked out my guts.
I don't know if that was the exact intention of that song, but I appreciate that description nonetheless. So, but no, it is.
That means I dug it. So,
I take that as when somebody's like, a lot of bands get really, it's like, you guys sound like a Cannibal Corpse ripoff. Oh, I mean, that's like the greatest thing you could ever tell me.
Absolutely. It's like, but no, I would not say that you're ripping them off at all.
I don't think anyone's ever said that.
Thank
let's just
goodness. But it would be a compliment, just like people
absolutely.
say, I look like Captain Spaulding,
we get
satanic
those
style.
I can see that. I wouldn't, if you hadn't have said that, I don't think I would have went there.
Probably not.
Now that's all I can see, Reaper.
Oh,
that's all I
shit.
can see now. No, it's interesting though. It's like trying to you put something out and to try to not meet the expectation, but like that was not what I expected at all. But it's really good, It's
Yeah.
like, or it's that's difficult, and but we had a few things going for us in that capacity. Again, wearing the mask, instant gimmick thing draws people in. We were talking about that a little bit earlier, but it's like there was way more to it. And again, coming from marketing and advertising, I mean, I had and a love for Kiss and Alice Cooper and all things unholy and scary and creepy. So yeah, it wasn't a hard sell. It's like anything to kind of set you apart from everybody else. It's like it's getting their attention, and then what are you going to do to keep it?
Right.
And that's always the trick. So
well, it's with your killer brand of death metal. That's what's the big payoff there.
We try. We certainly try. So if somebody enjoys what we're doing, then we've it's definitely it's I'll take it, because it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. We don't try to. I'm not trying to. I think I kind of likened our, and it's funny. I'm going to say this, and I have no problem saying it. I know people will be like, oh, you hear this, but if I liken ourselves to creating a universe, something similar to like ICP. Okay, those guys are, you like them or hate them. What they did was something pretty unique.
I can respect it. Absolutely.
And you don't have to like it, but they created a universe and they cater to that universe. And they cater to their fans, and that's all they care about. And I think that is genius. That's marketing 101 right there.
It is.
They found their niche, and they got in and they just dug in, and they live as much off of the hate as the love, which there's something to be said about that. You show up, let me tell you, man, when there is something to be said about, we would go, hey, why don't you guys come play this festival, and we'll show up, and we're the idiots there wearing masks, and people are like, what the fuck is going on? So you got something to prove. So if you get up there and look like an idiot, which we kind of do anyway, but it definitely, you can win a crowd over, and it's we've been pretty lucky with that. We've guys like and I know this is we're coming back. So we were here in KC, and we had a pretty good opportunity for when some bands would come through. We had a friend of ours, Terry, who was working for this promotional company. He would ask us if we wanted to open for some of these. Hey man, obituaries coming. Would you guys want to? Was that something you'd be interested in the opening for? It's like,
I mean, fuck yeah, you're gonna say yes,
right?
My goodness.
I mean, it was funny because we played. I mean, we were a band for a long time and never played a show, or we couldn't even get a show, or other bands wouldn't want to play with us. So, we just kind of, again,
I hate that shit.
We cut our own path, man. It's like, I'm not saying we reinvented the wheel, but we just were very.
No, but I wouldn't say that you guys are cliche either, because people see certain types of masks, they automatically think one of two things: Mushroom Head or Slipknot. Your guys' stuff does not even come close to looking like any of that, or sound for that matter. So I feel like it's a much more original thing.
It's hard. I mean, again, we're not the first band to wear a mask. We're not going to be the last. So it's like, the mask thing was initially was more about taking away the. In my mind, it was about, when you see a band, and like I'm really gesturing, like, see a band, Reaper. So.
Dear Yurik.
And so you'll be watching a band, and it would always drive me bananas. Like, the guy would have a shirt on, and I can remember, like, at a show, and the guy that was next to me was more worried about what band was on his shirt than what they were playing. You know, it was like a weird, and that, you know, that feeds into like the CDs, and it's like, oh, oh gosh, what's he got on that? You know, you scour these things, and I was trying to do something like a little more subversive to take away that, like, okay, we'll all wear kind of the same style of mask. We'll all wear the same black shirts that say Trog, and it'll have something on the back, and so it's very uniform. So it kind of takes away that individuality. So we're not trying to do Slipknot. We're not trying to do that. So that was initially what we were doing, you know. So it's a very, you know, again, when you come up and play 25 minutes and you don't stop and you don't acknowledge the audience existence, and then you just walk away, there's something
in a
that's really
25-minute set, though. You really don't have a lot of time other than to say, come on, you know, Cleveland, wherever the fuck we're at, and then
Dude,
go right into the next song.
Listen, man, I can do some Paul Stanley epic banter with the best of them, but nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that.
Shit, I would dig it. Damn.
Well, so you know, I'm in this other band, Nosferatu. I do the that's the Doom band. That's the Doom band that we do I do the 25-minute Paul Stanley banter. So. And I can actually, shockingly, I can actually sing a little bit. So my version of Love Gun's it's okay. It's okay. 7 out of 10 would recommend to a friend.
Oh man.
But yeah, no.
Yeah, I actually do this with my Doom. Actually, we're more like a blackened or funeral Doom band, Circle of Nine, up here in Nebraska. So
I saw that. Do you have a Circle of Nine page yet?
We do. It's just Circle of Nine.
I'll dig it. I'll dig in.
Just put it in the search thing, and
we played up in Nebraska. Like we've played all over, man. That's what's crazy.
Nice.
Like,
have you done any of the Bigfoot conventions?
No,
because I hear that's a good thing.
And I know Lyle Blackburn. I'd met him online a few years ago, and I know he's really into that world, and I've just never really cracked that nut, I guess, you know. And then part of me thinks it's like, you know, it's like you've got these, like,
I hear they're fucking huge, and they love live music. Like, they like to get down.
Yeah, I just don't know if the Bigfoot community is ready for what we're.
You could always test market it. Send them a disc.
Yeah, I think it's a hard sell to them, because I feel like I've had some people reach out, and we've talked to people, and nothing ever comes of it. But you know, maybe it's
That's weird.
Yeah, so it's a little different. I mean, it's like, and again, to your point, it's like they see, oh yeah, let me check you guys out, and the first thing they do is they open they go to the Facebook or the band. It's like, holy shit, it's Slipknot Jr. No thanks, guys. You know, so I could see maybe a little bit why it wouldn't be their thing, or they just hear the music and are like, whoa, no, we don't want to.
It might be something like that. But you know, I know that. I mean, obviously, I'm all about myths and shit. Whether
no,
it's Bigfoot or the Jersey Devil or some bullshit like that. If I was like really hardcore into that community, and obviously being a metal fan, I'd be like, this shit's awesome, because Black Sasquatch, they just look like normal dudes. They have one guy that walks around in a Sasquatch outfit, like from head to toe, like a suit. And he's like lovable and jumping around and stuff. You guys are fucking terrifying. Now that's what I want to see. That's how it should
Maybe that's
be.
It. I mean, we definitely have our show has evolved a little bit, and we kind of gauge the crowd.
For sure.
We do. I mean, there's times and we've been pretty lucky. We've had these, getting to open like locally or regionally for some of these touring bands is it, it's a good thing, so that's how, we were pretty lucky. I got to meet
I'm sure they dug you.
dude. Generally, yeah. a lot of head, or it's just complete head scratching, you know. And then we would take shows. We didn't care what it was because I'm all about. I don't have to play a death metal show. I can play a
Right.
you know, like, hey, do you guys want to play with the Gina Torturers? Sure, yeah. It's
Why
two
not?
different, and you know, that's to me that like you're going to stand out.
Yeah,
You're
big
playing in
time.
front of a totally different market that you would never. And 9 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, you guys were actually kind of cool. We kind of liked you. So we were always the only time that ever really didn't work was we opened up. I think it was like it was three bands. It was supposed to be us, and I want to say Divine Heresy. Uh,
Okay.
what's his name? Cazares is when he wasn't doing Fear Factory.
Yeah, yeah.
Dino,
Yeah,
and
Dino, yeah.
Iced Earth.
Okay.
And I think Divine Heresy fell off the bill. I
Mm.
think they added another local and they put us in the middle. I'm going to tell you right now, them Iced Earth guy, those Iced Earth guys did not like Bigfoot death metal, and they had no problem telling us about it. I thought it was,
Ouch.
I thought it was funny, dude.
Yeah,
Uh, I love, I thought it
and
was, you know,
where's
the guys.
Iced Earth guitarist right now? Clink, clink.
Well, yeah, yeah. Irony. That's what that is.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was just thinking. I'm like,
But you know,
fuck
it's
that
like it's a
shit.
great, you know, the guys like, you know, there were a couple of guys in the back, you know, get off the stage. It's like, one more, you got it. You know, I would just like antagonize the crowd, which
Bigfoot
you know,
riot.
I mean, and you know, by the end of it, you kind of win them over, you know. So it's
You
not the
know,
worst
it
band in the
totally because
world.
they're like, wait a minute, okay, I can get past the initial. This is what they're going to look like, but
The
damn,
sticker
the
shock of
metal that they're playing fucking rocks. Because I feel
yeah,
like, kind of like you said, you know, people that like Cannibal Corpse or um, shit, I'm trying to think of some other ones, Dying Fetus, or you know,
yeah.
some of the big death you know, staples in death metal would love your sound regardless of what you look like.
I, that's the idea. Obviously, you're not. I mean, uh, and again, this is very calculated things that we do. When you buy,
Mhm.
remember those? They were called CDs, compact discs. Do you remember them? There used to be a
Yep, I
place called
still make them. So
there's a place called the Best Buy. You could go get them. Um, no,
please,
you like, yeah, dude. I got stacks of them everywhere. You look around. No,
you know, vinyl.
vinyl walls over here. So,
Nice.
but again, going back to the there was some thought, and again, maybe that's I don't know if it was in like you know, I come from the marketing world, and it was like so when you see our CDs, they're very minimalist. It's like there's no booklets, there's no giant liner notes, there's no thank you. I mean, it is, and there's no pictures of us. Very, you know, and again, very, it's a very calculated thing. I didn't want, again, you don't have the distraction. I mean, we tried to put some really killer art on them, but and just be done with it and let you know. Again, now everybody, you know, the art now is oh, what is it? It's this big on whatever streaming platform. So you know, I still buy CDs. I like the physical format, and
Oh, I will always be a big fan of that, and most of my viewers and the Morgrat universe love their CDs and vinyl especially. So we got one question here for you.
8 track.
JD says
I
he's a
flipped
little
it
bit
over here.
late to the game.
JD says 8 track. I put the first album. I actually made the effort to put the first album myself. I had an 8 track recorder, and
Nice.
it took me like a month. And I'm like, there ain't no way. I mean, it was like I did the fade outs between. Like it was a mess, dude.
Uh, he says I'm lost. What the hell is Bigfoot metal?
I've been trying to figure that out for 15 years. So
Simply,
Bigfoot. I
JD,
mean, that's what troglodyte is.
it's Bigfoot inspired uh in this case death metal. uh there's so many different bands that kind of do the same kind of thing, but not quite like Troglodyte does. So but I love how it ties in your passion for doing, you know, special effects for, you know, a lot of indie horror, whether you liked the films or not. I mean, I'm sure you're proud of a lot of your creations, but you're able to kind of like meld both worlds together, and that's the one thing that here at Reaper's Underground has always been about. Is both ends of those spectrums. So it's like when we can combine them, I mean, there's a long list of horror and metal together, like in film throughout
Mhm.
all these decades. So much that they even did like a big old documentary called The History of Horror and Metal,
Yeah, I
So,
saw that.
oh,
Yeah,
so good.
yeah. They pair. I mean, the movie world and the music world parallel, like especially from a business perspective, and being inside. You
Absolutely.
know, it they're pretty universal. I mean, especially there's a lot of things that are just it's like, wow, that's just like in music, or wow, that's just like in the movie world. So you come back to I never call myself an artist, but I mean, I pick probably the two of the worst things to try to make a living at, and not get the
Not in my
screws.
book, man.
Yeah, I mean,
To me, they're the fucking best.
they're the best as long as you're not trying to make money and not get the screws put to you every 5 minutes. But I mean, it is what it is.
But there's so much freedom.
It is.
That's the thing. There's freedom there.
Oh no, absolutely. And this, like I said, I think we talked about this a little bit. I better part of my life, I worked at advertising agencies or marketing places, and
Absolutely.
I picked up a lot of stuff there. But you're absolutely right. I kind of do my own thing now, and I kind of moved away from the movie work for a while. I've kind of gotten back into that. I've worked on I'm working on three. There's one we shot a bunch of stuff on. We got to do some pickups. I'm working on effects for two other movies right now that shoot.
Nice.
One's in the spring and one's in the summer. So, and
Fantastic.
then I'm shooting I'm working on a video for Ghoul right now. I don't know if you're familiar with Ghoul. I'm big. If you're not, you should be. They're from Creepsylvania. Ghoul's great. Ghoul,
I've heard of them.
yeah, Chef's Kiss. If you haven't, go find them. Again, another kind of I'm not going to say gimmicky, but they're really good. I'm working on a video for them right now. And the band stuff. You were talking about that earlier. I think my convoluted point that I was trying to make. How'd you get into music videos? Well, it's real easy when you're in a band and you play with these guys and you get to know them. Oh yeah, we played. Hey, if can we get these guys to play with us? And so after you do that a few times, you get to meet people like I think one of the first, like I met the guys from Impaled, and I was a really big fan of their music. And I did many moons ago, I did a really crummy video for them, but it was like, okay, this is cool. This is cool. And, it just, I just, I was doing makeup effects, and there was this, Mitch Massey is this great video director. And I wanted to, you talk about going behind the curtains, learning how, what's the secret sauce here. And so I did the gore effects for this dying fetus video called Die with Integrity. And
That was you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm even in it. I get killed. Big shocker. I can't keep my mug off. I hate being on camera, dude. I hate it.
I don't know. I'm the exact opposite. I'm like, you get me
can't help it when
camera, I come to life,
Yeah, I mean, it's a different thing. You can't when you're as good looking as we are. I mean, that's
goes without saying.
Yeah,
Ladies in the world, look
Mitch
out.
lived up in Indiana, and I knew him, and we'd wanted to always work together on something. And he's like, "Hey, I'm doing this dying fetus thing, and it's just concept, no band." I'm like, he lived up in Indiana, which was like 8 hours or something from here or something.
Yeah.
So I made all the stuff. I drove up there, and I spent like about a week up there working on it. And their new dying fetus is brutal.
Okay. You saw that. I was going to say, I was going to put it up. Actually, I am going to put it up on screen because if my computer will work with me here. Abso-fucking-lutely. It was rated very highly on the last Tracks of the Damned podcast that I did last week. Make
I
Them
had
Beg for Death is just three guys, three fucking guys, man. Tight
it's
as
very
fuck
yep.
and groove and brutality death. I mean, there's just nothing better than that. For me, that's one of the albums of the year.
I'm bummed that I had a few years ago. I was friends with. I'd shot a video for Origin, and and that was for Nuclear Blast, and actually that was an easy gig because Mike Flores, who's the bass player, he actually plays in Troglodyte.
Oh,
So that was
nice. Well, that
pretty
worked out
easy.
nicely.
It was a pretty easy gig for me to get. So I think,
I guess so.
you know, and then after that, it kind of opened the door. I knew Ross from Exhumed and Impaled, and Exhumed was doing they were working on an album, and that kind of got my foot in the door over at Relapse. And I did a couple videos I did some stuff over there, and yeah, I was bummed. So, and they kind of had, and then I was doing stuff kind of bouncing around, doing some stuff for Season of Mist and Nuclear Blast. And I kind of lost touch. I lost my contact over at Relapse. He'd kind of left and moved on. And they had reached back out to me this year, but it was like, I think they already had the Dying Fetus stuff was already locked down. So I missed that one, but I was like, oh man, it would have been great to do a Dying Fetus video.
Oh, I'm sure it would have been gory as fuck.
I would, that would probably be a prerequisite, but I did, I did 3 videos for a band called End Rain, which is, I love that album. I think it's a real sleeper, and they wanted 3 videos and they wanted this concept, and they were nice enough to let me just kind of run with it. So, and it kind of got my foot back in the door over at Relapse, and I love working with Relapse. I've always liked those guys a lot. So
I've always heard good things.
I got no problems. I mean, they've been really good to me. And it's like I said, the kind of videos I make are very, it's like if you want your band playing in a warehouse with the fan and the hair and that's not me. That's like I do they're like little movies,
It's so tongue in cheek,
Yeah. I mean, I could do a video like that, but I just, like the End Rain thing was interesting because none of those guys live in the same place. They're never going to be in the same. I mean, they might be, but if they, so doing a really concept driven idea seemed like the way to go. And the record, I pitched, I wrote these stories, these treatments for them, and they're like, yeah, go for it, man. So, and every now and then, that's kind of my thing. That's kind of what I want to be. I just did one for one of my other Trog, two of the other Trog cohorts are in a band called Torn the Fuck Apart, the very subtly named Torn the Fuck Apart. And they're a 3-piece, and
nice.
I did a video. I did like a kind of a lyric video, and I did one kind of part concept and then playing, but yeah, that's usually not my thing though. I like making the little movie. It's like a little music, tiny
now
movie.
See, I like that.
That's all. I mean,
that's always been my approach to music videos also. Actually, the last one I did, not only was I part of the band, but I also had a role in it. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. And to be honest, I would love to see what you would do for Deicide's Bury Your Cross.
I don't know. I don't know if I could do much. I mean, that thing was pretty.
That would just be sick as hell.
That was. I watched that. I saw that the other day. That's pretty gross.
They already got the video.
You haven't seen that video?
Ah, shit!
Oh god, you gotta see it now, man. You gotta.
Damn it!
Oh yeah, it's horrible. horrible in the best way possible, I guess. So yeah, it's pretty.
Oh, that means I'm just gonna love it. It's just blasphemous goodness.
Oh no, you'll. It's definitely the best of both worlds. There, the guy that did it, Dave Brodsky. I feel like I lose a lot of work to him. He's really good though. He actually knows.
I have heard his name throughout the industry.
Yeah, he's. No, he's good. He's really good, and he did it. He's he did that one. I know he did Blast Cannibal Corpse videos. He worked on those, and
I feel like they've done a little too much of the, like you said, just the band rocking out in a desolate warehouse, though. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's
So
kind of
hopefully they're getting better.
it's. I mean, it's an easy. That's kind of the expectation from, and a lot of that's driven by. I'm not going to say a lot of it. I see sometimes it's driven by the label. They want to see the band, and it's
Fucking
like, all
hate
right,
that shit.
and it's like, all right, we'll have a zombie chasing this girl, and we'll cut back and forth. You know, I
No
get
good.
it.
No
I
good
get
at
it
all.
though. I mean, I get it. It doesn't mean I like it, but I'd love to do a Cannibal Corpse video. I don't need the
Well, fuck
band.
yeah.
I
Of
mean, I don't need
course.
that's on my bucket list. One day I'll get one day we'll see. Maybe that'll happen. So but I get it. The labels have, guys like Dave, who's this incredible talent, and they just, they go to
He's
him.
only one guy, though.
It's smoke and mirrors, dude. All the video work is all smoke and mirrors. Once I figured out the algorithm to making them, it's like, now I see. So it's always
Well, as a matter of fact, should we go ahead and show the one video that you did for your band, actually?
we can I think we can legally show that video in this form.
Awesome.
We can make the other videos available in some capacity for our viewers if they so are inclined to.
Oh, absolutely. I've been subliminally messaging everyone down at the bottom at JeffreySisson.com. Takes you right to everything he's done. And it's fucking awesome. So
the Exhumed video is really good. I really like that one. It's Night Work, I think is the name of that one. It's really good. I really like how that one came out. And then the guy who was, because it's based on so they wrote that album. It's like based on real grave robbers, Burke and Hare. And I like how that came. Again, a period piece. That's crazy too. Yeah, this one was like this is my answer to the lyric video.
all right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you couldn't feel that right there out there in Morgrot land, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you. First of all, killer concept. Oh, the comments are just lighting up. I love it. Paul says, let me get that here. He says, I dig the graphics. Fuck yeah, dude. It's like a fucking video game that gets sucked into and like fucking brutalized.
Yeah, we talked
Cody
about
says,
that.
This is fucking
we talked
amazing.
about that
Love
before.
the old school game feel. Nice.
Okay, so let me tell you, we talked about this earlier. So we had a big so I think that was in 21. It was the end of 2021 because the album was done, the new album was done, and we were gonna do, because we'd never done a video and we wanted to do something kind of special, kind of cool. And I had a friend of mine that lives in town here. He shoots, he's helped me with videos and he shoots stuff for Tech Nine. And strange music, and we were like, okay, we're going to do something really cool, and kind of had something planned out, and then I got COVID. So I kind of had to shift gears because not knowing what was going to go on with all of that. And we had a very short window, so we kind of lost it. So I was like, all right, because we were working with Blood Blast, which is like the digital nuclear blast. They were the ones that
Gotcha.
they were pushing this out to the world. And they're like, well, they were waiting on the video, and it's like, well, what about just a lyric video? And I'm like, oh God, I hate those. I just don't like those.
Right.
So I'm like, I tell you what, so I just went in, I made all the, like I did an 8-bit version of a song. So it's not quite as obnoxious. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's a lyric video. So, but
that was the most unique one I have ever seen.
I've seen a few. I feel like I've seen a few since then. So, oh yes, definitely. Yeah. Definitely wanted to look like, just like an old video game, and it served a purpose. It got the, people are like, oh, that's funny. I'll pass it around a little bit. So it gets your song a little traction.
I didn't think it was funny. I thought it was awesome.
Well, thank you, man. That's
apparently all my viewers think the same thing.
No, it's tough, man. That was a really tough spot to be in, and anybody was trying to put out music in that time frame was kind of getting the screws put to them by everything going on with the the pandemic and everything. Nobody was touring, so it makes it really hard to get your music out too. So because you're fighting.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, so
I felt that same shit.
Yeah,
I think on Kingside Records during that year, and we had just literally gotten signed, and the country went done.
Yeah. I mean, you just deal with
nothing but videos and live feeds.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, you just kind of roll with it. That's kind of been our luck. We've never had the greatest luck. We're like the band that I think I don't remember who told me that. I think it was one of the guys from Guar had said, you're like the band that all the other bands know, but nobody that listens to the bands knows who you are. I'm like, cool, thanks. I think I understand.
Not exactly sure how to take that.
Oh, it's no, I take it. No, it's awesome, man. I think
okay.
No, I mean,
I was hoping that it was.
I mean, it would be better if all of their fans knew about us, but I'm not. It's okay.
You know what? That's what you need to do. You need to do a show with fucking Guar.
We did. We played the Guarbecue.
Damn.
Yeah, we've played the Guarbecue. I was fortunate to get. I got to know Brocky a little bit before he passed. I was talked with him. I met him at a show, and I was like, I think because we actually got a chance to play with them once, and
nice.
They were just really cool. They were really cool guys, man. And he did some art for us. He did a T-shirt design for us, and he was just a real good advocate for us. He was always asking, he would message me and or send me a text message, "What you doing?" And just like he was really good. You need more stage props, he was like, but yeah, all those guys. They've all been super cool to us. There's
That's
bands
awesome.
That, if they
should do a mini tour.
God, I would. Yeah, I mean, and again, it's just, I mean, you're in a band, how tough it is. It's like we, get it. You got to have a booking agent. You got to have somebody that goes to bat for you and really pushes you now, because it's like there's so many bands fighting for these spots on these tours, and
absolutely.
We're not.
But we're also in the age of the buy-on.
Absolutely. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's like I've never, I've never tried to use our, we've got, like even on the last album, we've got, there's a guy from Guar that does a guest vocal. There's, you got Ross who did a guest vocal and stuff, and one of our band members is in the Super Amazing Origin, and not trying to use all that, and even when you do, it only gets you so far. So it's
I totally respect that.
It's definitely a lot different than it was like when we first started doing this, and it's just a really, I'm not gonna say it's a racket, but it's a pretty tough. I think I said this before. It's a pretty tough nut to crack nowadays. Where it used to be, it's like, oh, Guar's coming to town. Well, they'll just, we'll play, or whoever, and it's just like a lot of the promoters, they just, they either they don't put locals on, or they just don't even want to mess with it anymore, because there's already a half dozen bands playing. Who wants to play at 4 o'clock?
Sadly.
So, and that's kind of what it is. So you kind of you find yourself looking for opportunities and playing, the best shows you can. And
I could see you guys playing the Tennessee Metal Devastation show, to be honest.
I mean, we'll play.
That's a great festival.
We've played, and that's probably what we've done more in the last 5 years, is just play festivals. We don't play a lot of local shows. We just, we just don't want to wear out our welcome, man. We've been playing here for a long time, and
I feel that.
It's like I would rather take the opportunity. Like, there's a really good, in South Dakota, what's it called, like Gut Fest? It's one of those real subtle names like that, or something,
as subtle as it can be.
Sure, yeah. I'm less is probably.
Texas would definitely dig you guys too, I think.
Yeah, I think and we've done our own little kind of DIY, played out, we went out west, or we I feel like wherever we go, we have a pretty, we played some. There's been some festivals in Chicago, or not Chicago. We played a couple, and maybe Gutfest was in Colorado. Now that I'm thinking about that, yeah, I think that
possibly.
That was Gutfest. Slam Dakota. That's what I was thinking of. Slam Dakota.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
Played with a bunch of slam bands, which I love because we stand out like a sore thumb because we are not slam. So. But that's a great,
exactly.
It's a great show, and people are just like, "What is going on here?" So we always look for those opportunities. I mean, it's not about, it's. I don't have. Again, you've got booking agents who are going to bat for a lot of these bands, and we've worked with a couple booking agents, and again, before the pandemic, things were a lot different, and like some of those people, they're not even in the business, and those particular agents and those places they worked for are gone. So you're just starting all over again. And it's like, who are you? What? No. I mean, if you want to pay us like $500 a month, we'll take you on. It's like, well, why would I, if I was making $500 a month enough to pay you, I wouldn't probably need one. So
right. Exactly.
I could be mistaken, maybe, but again, the game's changed a little bit. So it's like, if I, and we'll get an email from a festival if they want us to play. That's great. It's like I can reach out to these, and sometimes they get back, sometimes they don't. So it's like, it's a lot of it's just about the people, the people that go to those, and if they want to see us, you got to badger these guys, and a lot of people just don't understand that. If they have 50, 100 people say you should put Troglodyte or whoever, it's way more impactful than me sending an email begging to be put on a show. So
right. And who the hell wants to do that anyway?
No, I don't have that time. I know you don't either. And it's like, it is what it is. And I think the only one we did get, there was a message about the, oh man, I totally spaced it. The ICP.
I'm with you, Babylon Sun. That would be fucking killer.
I think there was some talk about getting us to play The Gathering, but it didn't happen.
Oh,
I would have played that. Oh. But yeah, no, we get good opportunities. I mean, when Hatebreed came through here a few years ago, and they did some really small clubs, they'd reached out to the club and they asked for us to play. And Jamie I occasionally talk to him via email, and he's been a really good supporter. He's he had nothing but nice things to say. I've heard him talk about us on his podcast like a few years ago when he stumbled upon us like everybody seems to. So it was pretty funny, man.
At least the legend is getting out there. So we're getting into...
I mean, it only took 15 years.
Oh, sorry. Well, that's just about all of us. For sure. Because
you have to spend at least,
I was playing death metal for 20 years before I went into the Doom genre and then got signed. So literally 20 years. And that
No,
was
I feel,
just a distribution contract at that point. So
yeah, I feel like you got to spend like 10, 12 years at least to be in a band before anybody,
big
you
time.
even like make a ripple in the pond. So, uh,
Yep.
you know, it just is what it is, man. It's kind of, maybe that's what I need. Well, I got the Doom thing going on. So another 10 years of doing that, man, I'm good to go, man.
We're doing it.
Nosferatu.
No, we're gonna do a show together. That's what's gonna happen.
Oh, I love, dude. I feel like we were going to do something up in Nebraska. Where was it?
Probably Omaha or Lincoln.
Probably. Unmerciful didn't have a vocalist, and I filled in for them for a while. And I remember doing a couple shows. I did a show up in, I think it was Omaha. We played.
Probably.
It's in a little strip mall. Very exciting. Very exciting. No,
Nice.
yeah, I love getting like Nebraska had always been really good. We always had good. We have pretty good shows wherever we go. Typically, I mean, Texas. We played some Texas shows. I feel like we played a festival down there, and that was good. And, yeah, we don't go out east that much. But again, it's like it just is what it is. The nature of this business has totally evolved in such a weird way in the last few years. It's just I'm just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen. To be honest with you, so
Thank you, Cody. It's coming. That's all I can say. So we're getting to the last segment of the show, and one of the last questions I have for you is: so, what was your favorite creation or film that you had worked on doing effects?
that's a good one.
I know it's probably a tough one.
Well, yeah, I mean, because a lot of the stuff, yeah, it's just you just kind of pass. I really enjoyed working on Guardian of the Realm. I didn't. That was a guy. These guys, I met them when I was out in L.A. It was friend of a friend kind of thing, but all the guys that were making it were all from like St. Louis and Missouri and stuff. So I had my foot in on that one, but like Ted Smith is the guy who directed it, and he's this huge in the cosplay world now. He's like this huge dude. Like he's got a brand of, I think he's got his Evil Ted brand they sell at hobby stores and stuff. But
No shit. Wow.
and he used to he was they call it fabrication. He's really good at that. And but he had worked on Rob Zombie, stage props, stuff like that. So he kind of that's where he cut his teeth. And he's I really liked working on that one. That one worked on that one for like 3 or 4 weeks, and it was really good because there was a chance to really just do a little bit of everything. Oh, we're making monster suits, we're doing makeup, it was blood effects, all kinds of stuff. And that was an old, I mean, that's been 20 years ago that we made that, but it's still pretty good. It's like I'm working on some new stuff now with this guy Patrick Ray, who's here in Kansas City, and Eric Winkler is the writer. They did a movie called I Am Lisa, like a werewolf movie. I didn't work on that one, but I really
We
liked
need
it.
more werewolf films.
I agree. I agree with that. I'm
Just
working
watched
on
Wolfman the other day, and it was just I can't get enough of it.
But yeah, man, I worked. I've got some. I had an opportunity to work with those guys on this project, and I'm really some of the stuff I'm doing is just completely nauseating. And it's like, hey, we need a guy who's been dead and he's decomposing in a plate of pasta. So, I mean, I come in, yeah, I did it, so, but yeah,
Nice.
yeah, some of this new stuff's going to be pretty good. I feel like, I did, Bonnie and Clyde versus Dracula. I did a bunch of effects for that. I really liked, when I got a chance to work on that. That was really funny. There's so many of them. there's so many of them. I can't. I mean, like I said, I kind of got away from doing the movies, and I was just more the video stuff. But I'm kind of getting back into the movie stuff. I'm hoping. I don't want to jinx myself. I'm hoping next year I can finally get off my duff and I'll do a feature. So got a couple things. It's got a couple things cooking. We'll see. We'll see
Nice.
what comes out. So that was kind of my plan. It's like, well, I'll shoot some videos. If those come out like junk, maybe I shouldn't blow a bunch of money to make a movie then. So the videos I think are okay. So I don't know if that's a litmus to make a movie or not, but I'm going to use it as one. So,
Well, I mean, you definitely have the vision, you have the skills,
I
and
definitely have visions. That's for sure.
don't we all? But yeah, for sure, man. We can't wait to see what you do next. Like I said, just a multi-talented individual, creativity,
And you
and
too,
humble
Connie.
as fuck, just like myself. And now that I've kind of broken into the indie world of horror, finally, after years and years and years of wanting to, I would be blessed to have you turn me into a bloody mess
Oh,
at
it'll
some
well.
point,
That
or a demon. That would be really cool.
You'll be shocked. I'll take you up on that. You never know when I try to keep like this like stock people that I can always go to. So
I'm
uh,
here all times.
I'm gonna write that. No, that's
I'd
good,
love
man.
it.
It is definitely fun, and it's I've been pretty blessed to meet a ton of cool people,
Absolutely.
um, yeah, man. Look at Justin, Vice Cop Free. See, he's talking about that's a guy that I got. I think I saw some Justin I went to school with back in
Mhm.
1930. Vice Cop Freeze. Actually started.
Feels
That was the
that way,
movie.
right?
That's crazy. Yeah, I feel like I totally didn't realize I had the chat. It was clicked over onto the private chat and it logged me out. So I wasn't seeing any of the comments for a while. So that's good. That's good.
Well,
Justin, man, I think I saw Melba in here too. That was funny.
so with all of the fans that you've made here tonight, with all the viewers,
Love it,
what is your lasting message for them?
man.
Troglodyte, Babylon Sun. That's the name of his band.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm the
No worries.
worst self promoter ever. Uh, you know what?
Definitely go to jeffreysisson.com
You can do
for
that. You
one.
can go find Troglodyte. I can definitely Troglodyte. I think I had
Spotify.
Hosferatu. If you
Yep.
if screaming Bigfoot death metal isn't your thing and you like things slowed down a little bit, you can check out Hosferatu. You could go check out our cover of Iron Fist. That's very timely since we're celebrating
Nice.
the anniversary of Lemmy's passing. Uh,
Yes.
we did a pretty killer cover, I must say, of Iron Fist. We got a new Hoss record coming out finally this year.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, you know what? It's life's too short. Do stuff that makes you happy. That's my message. And
Honestly, yeah.
sometimes
Go ahead.
if you're lucky, you can make a couple bucks and pay your bills and keep those guys off your back.
Absolutely. I really appreciate you coming on the show tonight. Definitely
No,
the
No,
the
it's awesome, man. I again, it's just like hanging out at somebody's house, and I really appreciate you not going into the adult films that I worked on. Uh,
I'm greasy, but I ain't that sleazy. I don't know. That's about the only way I can describe myself. So, but no, man, it's a family atmosphere here at the underground, and just really fortunate in 2023 to bring all of you out there in the Morgrot universe some of the best, you know, interviews that I could possibly do, bringing you the best in the underground world of dark art, music, horror, you name it. I've had it this year. Erie Vaughn, formerly of Danzig, and
Oh yeah.
Gene Hoglan of Death Clock, and so many countless number of bands that in 2024, I'm coming for y'all. You have no idea what I'm cooking up. And I couldn't have thought of a better way to end 2023, but with the great Jeff Sisson and
Oh man,
all
you
that
got it.
you, because you're much like myself. We moonlight with all of our passions kind of all at the same time, and they cross constantly. So I'm a big fan of that. Special effects is just something that is just uncanny, and you do it well, sir. So definitely go to jeffreysisson.com, check his videos out, and you can catch him on IMDb as well to see some of the past films that he's worked on, and you'll see him at work, especially. So, man, it's going to be a great unholy 2024, my demons.
Oh man, I love it. I'm so glad. Like I said, I'm so glad that I saw Joe's little bit that you guys did. You were riffing. It was good. Joe's a good dude, man. Like I said, I learned a lot working with him, man. It's just it's great. It's a good way to this is like the networking thing's awesome, and it's always it's great to meet new people. And I'm up in your neck of the woods, so we'll keep in touch, man.
Oh, most
Our,
deaf.
our unholy paths will collide.
Absolutely, I guarantee it. Not even an exorcism can get rid of me. So
I hope not.
No worries on that. So as you guys are getting ready to, give the big bon voyage to 2023, like the rest of us are hoping to do, be safe, have a hell of a good time, enjoy the great indulgence, and most importantly, watch and support all of the great indie horror films and indie metal underground bands that just fucking rock. Fuck the mainstream, go to where the real talent is. But as you're giving 2023 the big finger, you must always stay heavy.